Welcome back to the User Group Live in London. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Magali Pelissier, Product Manager at Anaplan based in London, and I look after the third-party add-ons, which are the Excel add-in, the PowerPoint add-in, and the Google Sheets add-on. Prior to that, I was a customer and I built models, and I am also a Master Anaplanner. I'm very pleased today to be talking to another Master Anaplanner about Center of Excellence. Please welcome Andrew Tai, who's been watching the user group here in London as a live audience. So how did you find it?
Thanks, Magali. So it's been really interesting sitting just over there, listening to all the content and listening to all the speakers, and it's been a really great event. I watched the York event at home on my laptop, and that was very good, but to actually see it in the flesh and all of the technical that's just behind the camera has been very interesting.
Yeah, good. So give us a bit of background. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us about your Anaplan journey so far.
So I used to work for Thomas Cook, heading up essentially the finance Anaplan team. Had it for about 3 years until the end of September, and traditional FP&A use cases, so cash flow, budget forecasting, and we'd started to connect outwards in the business as well. So we had a team in our yielding department, so where the holiday prices were set, and they had some tools, and we started to slowly connect those models together to really drive out some value and some good decision making. Okay,
great. So can you tell us a bit more about how you became a Master Anaplanner?
Yeah, so I think it was just a continuation of sort of personal journey in Anaplan. So you start with the building, and you start with get a use case out, and then as you start to move out, you realise, there's this program called Master Anaplanner, and you do a bit of investigation, a bit of research, and you think, yeah, that's something that I want to attain to. And so you find out what you need to do, you sign up, and you go, okay, well, I've done some model building and Anaplan, check that out. And they go, yeah, you do model building in kind of the right way. And then you then do a test. As David mentioned earlier on, it's been rewritten, there's some new questions, and it is tough. Don't get me wrong, it's 2%, I think, is what Anaplan are trying to target for Master Anaplanners. I think there's, a couple of hundred of us around the world, a few of us in the UK. So yeah, it's a very, very select bunch of people, and we really, it's hard to get to, but it's worth the journey.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely worth as well for the Anaplan swag.
Oh, absolutely,
that really
yes.
is.
For the
Yes.
the cool stuff that you get, it's definitely worth it for that.
Good, so thank you for that. And going back to your journey with Anaplan, can you tell us a bit more about the roles you've held so far?
Yeah, so when Anaplan first came into Thomas Cook, I was very much within the finance team, day to day, doing analysis, doing that, forecasting. We brought in Anaplan to solve two very specific problems that we were having around our ability to run our cash flow forecasting process, and also around our channel forecasting, so where we are going to sell holidays, either through retail, through web, through third-party agents, and when in the booking cycle those would happen. As you might expect, that was being done in Excel, and there is only so much you can do in Excel before it doesn't anymore. And so Anaplan was used to solve those two examples. Very quickly, it became apparent that those that were doing Anaplan could only do Anaplan. You couldn't do it as part of something else. It needed to be the majority of the role, because of the change in thinking, as David said. It is very different. You have to think and write in Anaplan. You can't know Excel and then translate it to Anaplan. You can, as he says, but you don't do a very good model. And everyone's journey is probably the same. The first model you build is potentially not very good. It will do the thing you want it to do, but you will be able to do better. So at the end, my entire role was 100% Anaplan because it needed to be to solve the problems that we were having.
So you've had people developing more and more their Anaplan skills.
Yes.
And we've got people in the live audience who are master Anaplanners now. So everybody has been or is going through this journey.
Yeah.
You need to set up a proper team with strong Anaplan skills. So has that journey been to build like a strong team with Anaplan skills, and how has that helped improving your processes?
Yes, I think that you don't need to have many people that are 100% Anaplan. You need a few key people that can go, right, this is how you develop Anaplan, in Anaplan, in your organisation, and drive out that value. Embedded within your local business teams, so in your finance teams, in your operations teams, in your marketing teams, there will be people there that Anaplan is part of their skill set. So you will have people in, say, marketing teams that will know how to use Google Analytics and Tableau and also Anaplan, but it's not their entire existence. It doesn't matter that they're not 100% Anaplan because they don't need to be, but you do need to have some core people at the centre that live and breathe it.
So how have you helped spread Anaplan across the business?
So it's very much being an internal consultant, if you will. So you build a use case in one part of the organisation, and then users of that use case in other departments will go, oh, that's really nice. I can see how you're getting some value there. Why can't we use Anaplan in our department? And so you then, do a little bit of a show and tell. You might bring in Anaplan people to really do that deep dive analysis, and then it's go, right, well, have you got some people in your team that you might want to have Anaplan or that are interested themselves in doing Anaplan? And it just sort of organically grows out as people understand what a difference it can make to business performance and also people's own personal work life. Before we brought in Anaplan for the two key use cases, people were coming in early and going home late and just being tired and frustrated and annoyed and angry, and that's not particularly good for a team of people. People with the Anaplan model, they were coming in to work, happy to be coming to work if you ever can be, but they were going home on time. They weren't stressed quite as much. They knew the process worked. They knew they were able to get in the data, out the data, do the analysis, answer the questions, feel like they were adding value to something rather than just doing it and pumping out a number.
Yeah. I think some people can relate here, and from my personal experience when I worked at British Airways and I discovered Anaplan, I was really engaged with a product because rather than refreshing some spreadsheets and trying to find out what that link is and changing that formula because it broke and things like this, I just used Anaplan, and you could generate new numbers, new forecasts in minutes rather than days. So you're a master Anaplanner, congratulations, and thank you very much for your contribution to the community. So people here may be wondering, okay, we're talking about center of excellence here. Do we need a master Anaplanner? Absolutely, before we do a center of excellence. What's your opinion about that?
So I would say you don't need to have a master Anaplanner with a certificate. You don't need to have people like us. What you do need to have, however, is people that really understand the platform. So there could be people in your team that are on that journey to master Anaplanner and effectively are in all but name. that's what you need for a centre of excellence. You just need people that can really understand the platform, spread the word of the platform, understand what needs to be done, and if they happen to be master Anaplanners, that's fine. It doesn't matter that much. They should become master Anaplanners as quickly as they can be, but yeah, I don't think it's entirely necessary at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we scared people a little bit initially when we said, oh, you've got to do this and that to become a master Anaplanner. Yeah. Now we're saying, do not worry, you know.
It'll be fine, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Like, really, how tough is it to become a master Anaplanner? Like,
so I would say, if you are in Anaplan and you are building all the time and you are building properly and you're building good stuff, half of what you need to do is already done, because basically it's Anaplan, look at what you are doing in Anaplan. And so if you are building good stuff, they can see that and they can see what you're doing. So, you know, you fill in the application form, and as long as you've done a year within Anaplan, then as a model builder, they'll just go, yeah, you know, that's fine, move on to the next stage. And the next stage is hard. You know, read the plannual, as David said, read around the subjects that will be covered in the exam, and it's a hard exam. I mean, it's having not really had to do much in terms of, you know, examinations for quite a while. It was hard having to, you know, think about what on earth the question was asking of you and whether some answers were more right than other answers, but, you know, you pass the exam and then you become a master Anaplanner. And then people come to you to talk about Anaplan, and you then become essentially an evangelist for the product. And you come and do things like this if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great...
Or not, if you don't want to. And
you don't have to.
You don't have to, no, at all.
But it's fun.
But it's fun. Yeah.
Good. So we'd like to acknowledge your previous company, Thomas Cook. How has being a master Anaplanner helped you through the recent events?
Yes, I think that it's been very helpful being a master Anaplanner. It's probably been more helpful being a very good customer of Anaplan and being someone that talks about Anaplan very positively. You know, people might see, you know, people that comment on articles and that sort of thing. If you do it positively and in the right way, then Anaplan thinking, oh yeah, that's someone that we want to support in their career. So there was the CPX London event, which happened to be not too long after Thomas Cook ceased trading, and that really helped because it showed that there was lots of opportunity out there which you don't necessarily know exists because you're in work and you're often not trying to find a job. You're there to enjoy the experience, but it really showed, you know, for those of us that went there, that there is opportunity, lot of opportunity with people with Anaplan skills, particularly master Anaplanners, because loads of customers, loads of companies are using Anaplan, and we are quite a unique resource.
Yeah, no, I think we're quite proud at Anaplan to live our values every day. You've seen our values on the video a bit earlier, and really we are supportive, and we're glad we've been able to help you through the recent events. So now we've got people here listening to us, and I ask you, okay, I want to do a Center of Excellence because this is a great thing. I'm sure my customer success business partner talks to me about it. I need to do it. I've got an idea about how to start, but I'm not quite sure. Where do I start? What's your opinion as a master Anaplanner?
So I would go to the Center of Excellence page on Community, read it, understand what it means, bring in your customer success business partner, have them talk to you about Center of Excellence. email Chris Weiss. He'll love to be able to talk to you about Centre of Excellence. I was very fortunate enough to be at the CPX San Francisco event and went to the Centre of Excellence training session, and it really helped to answer a load of questions. It brought up a bunch of other questions, but really helped to frame what a Centre of Excellence is and what it, perhaps more importantly, isn't within the Anaplan ecosystem.
So we say a lot of positive things about Centre of Excellence, why you should have them, but we really need to have some metrics, you need to show the benefits really. Have you ever measured the benefits in your previous role?
So aside from clearly the process time that's saved and the cheerier, for want of a better word, working environment, it's sometimes very hard to be able to go, right, well, because we've put in that Anaplan model and that use case, it has made that impact to the bottom line. What you can say is, well, because we've brought in Anaplan, we can go, okay, well, we're hitting our deadlines more effectively. We are able to produce forecasts and produce plans and better understand the direction of the business and what may or may not happen in the future, and answer those questions from senior management which you just couldn't do previously.
So in your previous role, you basically managed the practice, the Anaplan practice for the finance team. What kind of people did you have to support that group that manages Anaplan?
So it was essentially a bunch of accountants within the team, and they were using Anaplan. There were some users of Anaplan, so people that just literally typed in, drivers, assumptions, working with the areas that they were business partnering. And then we had some modelers who looked after their specific models for their particular teams. And then we had others that were looking at it in terms of more of a wider ecosystem. So how do different models interact with other models, and how do these calculations relate to other calculations, and making sure that, as a sustainable data hub in place, and that everything is looking at the same single version of the truth, and all the things that Anaplan talk about, we tried to implement them. It's quite hard to implement all of it, because at the end of the day, you've got to produce something that your customers can use. And, through Anaplan Way and through the agile methodology that underpins that, you can, produce incrementally and get something out, and eventually you get a much better model for it.
So you get a team of accountants, they know their job, they know what they've got to do. You've got people like you, master Anaplanner, you know Anaplan inside out. What do you think you need from other types of support in the company to help you manage the change? Because it's not about just bringing Anaplan and it's going to do the magic. You need to change the processes, enable people, support them through that journey with Anaplan.
Yes, so you do need strong leadership from senior team. So, you need, if you're in the finance department, you need a finance director, which we had, that was very supportive of Anaplan deployment within the department. You need to have people that really understand the benefit that it can make and can help to explain that it's a change that is good, and that you're not taking away people's, work, because sometimes, people will come in with a new system and it'll be like, oh, this system is going to do this, and like, oh, hang on a second, that might roll redundant. Well, actually, that won't hopefully be not true. What it will mean is that you'll be able to do more of the stuff that you should be doing, and less of the transactional, standard process type activity.
Yeah. So you've got people like this who are going to be able to do their job in an easier, more efficient way.
Yes.
It's actually freeing up their time from like processes and a kind of like spreadsheet kind of nightmare to then actually do some work, go into the details of the analysis and be able to give better insights for better decision makings. So got people like this, maybe that's you, and you think, oh, I really want to, use Anaplan, to be better at my job. And you've got people who are going to specialize into Anaplan and say, oh, I actually like building models and think about how we can improve processes. So you've got those two kind of career paths. So how has Anaplan influenced your career trajectory?
So it has clearly helped. So obviously for a while, I was in between jobs, as people would expect. But I do have a very good opportunity that is just tying up a couple of ends, and hopefully very soon I will be back being really active on the Anaplan community and really helping this organisation to drive forward their Anaplan usage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So overall, it's a very positive story.
Thing, yeah.
Okay, so two last pieces of advice for people here who want to become master Anaplanners and want to set up a center of excellence. What are your two things that you recommend they do just after the session?
So I would, for Master Anaplanner, have a look at the Master Anaplanner page on community and read that and understand it. And for Center of Excellence, I would do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Look at the community pages, quite literally all the information to get those, initial thinkings bubbling around will be there.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that you're not alone in that journey. If you want to be a Master Anaplanner, you're not sure what to do and so on, you're not alone. You can register on the website. And even if you're not ready yet to pass the test, you can still have some help from us, Anaplan, to guide you through what you need to do to become a Master Anaplanner. Same for Center of Excellence. Don't stay on your own thinking a lot about what you need to do. You can get some support from your customer success business partner. You've got all the information on the community, and we are here on the community as well. So post your questions, ask us whatever you want, and we'll do our best to reply. And we've got an audience here. I'm sure they're ready to help you as well. That's it. So I think we've got a few questions from the chat, so let's have a look at them. Good, so we've got some questions for you. You can answer first and I'll add
fill in.
Good, so the first one is, as a Master Anaplanner, what advice would you give to a model builder just starting on their Anaplan journey?
So I would say don't be afraid to basically get it wrong. Obviously, we have the planule now. When I started on my Anaplan journey, the planule didn't exist. You were not left to your own devices to get things wrong and to figure out what on earth you were doing. But a new model builder now, there is so much more support. Yeah. There are so many more guidelines. There's so much more people understand of the platform now. It's a lot easier, I think, to be a new model builder now than what it was certainly when I began being a model builder.
Yeah, I began 4 years ago as well, and there was no guideline. So you just build, and you had 5 options to build the same thing, and you were like trying to figure out which one was the best, and now we've got those guidelines. I think it may be a bit scary to have so much material, actually. So, just start small, read, 1 page of a plan you'll try and practice, and then you're going to start working on finance model, and you're going to learn some things, and then you're going to expand Anaplan in your company and look at another use case, and you're going to learn other things. So you don't have to know it all, you just learn step by step.
And I would say, if you haven't, do the level 1 training, because it will really help you to get that good under the bonnet understanding of, basics to a pretty good level of model building, and then in time you will be able to move on to the level 2 stuff.
Good, thank you very much. For the next question, Master Anaplanner sounds great,
It is.
But you've only discussed the benefits. Are there downsides? No. Honestly.
There wasn't. So I think that one thing that I would say about being Master Anaplanner, there is a certain level of expectation that you will be visible in the community.
Here we go. And we are
here we are. You don't have to do things like this. You don't have to do user groups live. You don't have to be up on stage at CPX, because for some people, and probably for a lot of people, I couldn't imagine anything worse for some people. But writing articles, doing blog posts, doing potential customer phone calls, Anaplan will ask you. Really, it's what are you most comfortable with doing, and then going to Anaplan and go, I'm a Master Anaplanner, or want to become a Master Anaplanner, but I've heard, there's some stuff on the side that I might need to do. It doesn't take a lot of your time. So for this, I was going to be coming to this event anyway. And then the community team said, do you want to be part of it? So they will only ever ask you to do something if they know you're already going to be doing it anyway. And it took very little extra of my time. Clearly I'm in a slightly unique case when I've got all the time in the world at the moment, but even if I was working, it wouldn't have been much extra time to be part of this event.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can get involved,
Yes.
You don't have to, you can, and it's brilliant, we've got lots of events, you're VIP for Anaplan, so it's great. Next question, are there any mock examples of the questions to expect for the Master Anaplanner qualification? Would be good to be able to have a benchmark.
So, I don't know, is the answer to that question.
Me neither.
You neither.
But, okay, I'm going to tell you something, a secret. Yesterday, we had a Modelers Forum group here in London. I think in the first session, Paul Gallagher talked about it. And I was part of the people who initiated the group, so it's very great. I encourage you. And yesterday, we had a guest, David Smith, who has talked before, and he gave us 3 questions from the Master Anaplanner exam.
Oh, excellent.
So we were able to actually discuss the questions, and discuss the answers, why one was wrong and the other one was right. So that's the kind of thing you can do. I don't believe there are mock questions, but all the material is available on the community. It's also an open book exam, so you can, you don't need to know it all, like the limitation on the, on a specific formula.
I mean, it would be, I don't think any of the questions that got asked when I did it were, you couldn't find the answer. You could find the answer within community somewhere, within the training material somewhere. All the answers are there. Some of the questions are straightforward. Some of the questions are less straightforward, and some of the questions are just plain difficult. Because so say you are using Anaplan Connect, and that's how you get data into your model. There will be probably questions in there to do with hyperconnect. And if you don't use hyperconnect, then you don't know it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a lot to then read up about it. So, all the information's there.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to play that game, just post on the community and we'll probably find some questions for you.
Yes. We'll find you the easy questions, the ones that, if you get those wrong, then...
Okay, next question. Best example you've seen of a high-performing center of excellence? So I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to share that from examples for customers. My favorite example is Aviva. I mean, they've really invested in the product Anaplan, training people, creating a center of excellence. They've got a center of excellence lead now with, really trying to map out how things are going to work for Aviva with Anaplan. And I think that's brilliant. And I can really tell the success from some companies who've implemented Anaplan really comes from how they've managed their center of excellence, thinking about it from the start in their journey, not implementing a model, no data hub, no anything, little training, and then, we've heard of that fancy idea of a center of excellence. No, think about it in advance and plan your journey with Anaplan, and this is how you're going to be successful.
And of course, Anaplan themselves have quite a good center of excellence, I would imagine, given that, if you're not using Anaplan in Anaplan, then you're definitely not doing your job right.
Yeah, that was the topic actually of one of the previous user groups. We had an Anaplan on Anaplan session, and now we are converting on all our models on the new UX, so it's very exciting. Cool. Thank you very much for coming today. Very glad to be talking to another master Anaplanner, and I hope you're going to be soon, thinking about, can I be a master Anaplanner soon? And, actually, that idea of a center of excellence is very good. Like, how can I implement it in my organization? So thank you very much for joining. I know it's late now and you spent the whole afternoon with us. So we just look forward to hearing from you on the community. And if you've got some additional questions which we haven't answered, you can post them in the chat and we'll carry on. Thank you.